Welcome, everyone. This is Our Travel Experiences. I'm your host, Kyle Rasmussen, and today I have another good friend with me, Kathryn. Kathryn, how are you today?
Hello, I'm doing great. I'm so excited to talk about all things travel.
Yeah, I'm excited to finally have you on the podcast. I know we've been trying
Yes,
for like multiple weeks now to make this happen.
I know. I'm barely in the country, so hard. It's hard to schedule things but I'm here. I'm here
Yeah,
and I'm
no, I'm glad it finally worked out, and we can talk about some travel. So we met through FTLO, which I've now mentioned like a million times on here, and they've gotten a
right.
lot of free advertising. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, you've been on quite a few FTLO trips, haven't you?
Yes, I just when we came back from Cuba, that was my sixth. So I started traveling with them in 2018. I had just done some research online and with our age group everyone's plans are always all over the place and it's hard to get everybody aligned for a travel date. And they did a great job with their website. Their marketing was amazing. I talked to Michaela, who's now um, you know like even higher at the company, and just said, I want to go yeah, this looks great. I just want to go to this place during this time. This works for me. I'm extroverted. I'm fun. I love meeting new people. I love traveling. So let's do it. So I did Barcelona in the south of France in 2018. And then I did the Laplands. I did Greece. I did Croatia, Morocco when we first met our amazing group, and then Cuba. And I have Slovenia in the fall. So all different types of experiences.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's kind of all over the place too.
I know. I like to be able to go to I did Croatia last summer. Then the European summer trips are always so fun, but I love the off the beaten path. And that's why like FTLO does such a great job because I never would have been able to plan that itinerary for the Laplands, traveling
Mhm.
between Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Norway. And same with Morocco. Like it's so great that they have such a wonderful itinerary, always an amazing group leader, because I am a goer, not a planner. It stresses me out, which is why I also love FTLO because it's enough structure for me where I just read through it. I'm like, that sounds great. Love it, love it, love it. Just tell me where to be. And, I like that part. So
Yeah, that's awesome. It does make it so easy. Yeah, you don't really have to worry about much on those trips at all.
you just pick you pick where you want to go, when you want to go, and then you meet wonderful friends such as you and our group along the way, and you have memories and laughs for a lifetime. I think one of my favorite probably memories of my life, but especially with our trip to Morocco, was like the night when we were in the Sahara after coming in on the camels and seeing a beautiful sunset and having a nice happy hour, and you, me, Michaela, Becca, Sarah, just laughing so much and just having so many belly giggles. It just was like one of my favorite memories of life, just being like, this is so cool that I'm having this amazing fun experience with such great people in such an amazing place. So
Yeah, I agree. That's one of those moments where you're just like, I can't believe this is happening right now. Like I'm in the Sahara Desert, just gut
right.
laughing.
Is this happening? Like, and seeing the stars and the moonrise. I was actually showing, and I'm also FTLO's best salesperson. I just gave their eighth referral since 2020. My sister's friend had reached out to me, and she just signed up for the Scandinavia trip. But last night I was talking with. I was at a work happy hour and I was talking to a new coworker, and she was like, "Oh, I heard you travel a lot." And I was showing her my pictures, but I'm like, yeah, I was like, I love it. They do such a great job. So
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so much fun, and honestly, like some of those places like Morocco and Cuba, I feel like it's necessary to go with a group like FTLO to actually experience those places.
right. And I trust them, obviously. You know what I mean? I think they do such a great job of also making it so culturally enriching, but also an authentic experience. Like when we were in Morocco and we went to Sarah's friend's home and they welcomed us, and they gave us tea and they fed us and they told us stories and we made the pastilla. Like those kinds of things you don't get with other groups, you know?
Hmm.
They do a very good job of making it like a localized, like not a tourist, but a traveler experience.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. That's what really drew me to them was like, yes, you're doing some of the highlight touristy things that like if you're there, you got to do kind of thing, but it's a lot more like culturally enriching. Like you're going off the beaten path and learning about what the culture is actually like, and I think that's so cool.
Yes, from the horse's mouth, from the locals, from the people that are there. I think that's
Mhm.
always my favorite thing. Actually, going anywhere is just like go to the local pub and drink the local drink. Try and try and enrich yourself as much as you can in the culture.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean that's what being a traveler is all about, in my opinion. I don't know. Did you see? I was gonna text our group. Did you see how that new movie on Netflix, A Tourist Guide to Love? I think that's what it's called.
No, but I will watch it.
Okay, you got to watch it. Let me know what you think.
Okay. Tourist Guide
Um,
to Love. I love
what's
that.
that?
A tourist's guide to love.
I think yeah, or yeah, something like I think it's that A Tourist Guide to Love. Um,
Search for it.
with Rachel Lee Cook is in it. Um,
Amazing.
definitely rom com type of movie, but
Oh, I love that.
really good like travel like metaphors and things in there, and it was really cool.
That's
Uh,
amazing. I mean rom-com, you had me at rom-com, so I love that. I actually also just watched it's with Eugene Levy. I don't know if you've seen it. It's the like Resentful Traveler or something,
I
where
don't know.
he goes to the Laplands and he also goes to the Maldives and there's somewhere else. But my mom had actually showed it to me and she was like, "Oh, Kathryn, you should watch this. It's about travel." But he's like the nervous traveler. He's picky. I don't know why they did it this way, but I was like, I went to the Laplands. It was so cool, and to be able to watch him go do it, like I love anything travel, those kinds of documentaries to see
Mhm.
people, places, and things. So that's another good one. Even though like Eugene Levy's funny, but he's not a brat about it. But
Yeah.
whatever, he's supposed to be like a cranky traveler. He doesn't like being cold. The total opposite of us in our group. Like, so I don't know why they chose him, but it was a good show. The Maldives one too. Oh my God, it just looked like another world.
That's funny. Yeah, I like those shows. I like Zac Efron's show too. Down to Earth.
Oh yes.
That
I
one's
heard such great things about that. I need to watch that one.
yeah, it's a lot about like sustainable living and sustainable travel and stuff like that.
Oh.
It's a really good one.
I love that one. Yeah, anything that I do and I watch, I'm like, it gives me that wanderlust again, and I can't. I'm like, okay, now I got to plan my next trip. Like, where am I going? To give me something to look forward
Yeah, I'm the same way. And then my bank account's like, hey, you need to stop.
to. Yeah, I know the feeling. But my motto is travel is the only thing you can buy that makes you richer. So
Yeah.
I've never looked back at a trip and been like, "Ooh, I'm so mad." I was like, "Ooh, I spent like $1,000 over that I wanted to or something." I remember one of the first trips I did when I was 26. I'm very close with my grandmother, and I actually got the travel bug from her pretty much. I lived with her for 2 years in high school, and she would travel all the time. My grandfather had passed away when I was in high school, but that was not gonna end her world, end her life. So she traveled. She did one of the first trips she did when I was in high school was, well, not the first, but she went to the bottom of South America and did the tour of all that, and then um, popped over to Antarctica. So I was like, this is amazing. At the time, she's 84 now, so this was like when she was 75. But I
Jeez.
it was just so amazing, and I always have looked up to her with that, and she loves to travel. And so then when I was got into sales, and I had, after making no money for the first 4 years in New York City, very tough, and living at home. But I moved to the city, and then in 2017, I had enough money to like go on a trip, and my first trip. And I said, Grammy, where in the world do you want to go? Let's go, you and me. I want to do it. She first Alaska. And I was like, okay, love it, but no, I want to get out of the country. We need to go to another country. And so I said Vietnam because I studied abroad in Australia, and We went to Bali, which was amazing and incredible.
Mhm.
And then when we came back, we stayed for 5 months in Australia, and we had these other counterparts, these Brits that did a year-long program, and they went to Vietnam, and their pictures were just unbelievable. And I fell in love with Southeast Asia after going to Bali. So I said to Grammy, I was like, I was like, I want to go to Vietnam, like as far away as like, I don't know. I was like, world's our oyster. Let's go somewhere. And she was like, all right, I'm in. So we went to Vietnam and Cambodia together in 2017. And everyone keeps thinking I'm her daughter because she just looks so great for her age. But she's 4 and she just got her knee replaced a couple weeks ago. And I helped her last week. And I was like, Grammy, let's go on another trip once your knee is ready. We won't be taking the 15-hour flight that we did to Vietnam. I'm thinking maybe like Mexico City. So it's something that's
Oh, there you go.
close enough flight wise to with her knee, but yeah, I'm very close with my grandmother, and I think I got my love for travel and just exploring new places, meeting new people, understanding new cultures from her. So I hold her very close and near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, that's so cool, and it's so cool that you guys have gotten to do that together too. Um, I think that's always fun when you get to go on those major life-changing trips with your family too.
Yeah, it is. And I'm so fortunate to have her in my life. She's 84, but she's killing it in life. She's ready to go and she has such a zest for life and it's really special the relationship I have with her, but most people might not even still have their grandparents. So to be able to share those special memories that, as cheesy as it sounds, last a lifetime. Like we just joke and we like when I was in the hospital last week with her as she was recovering, we were talking about our Vietnam trip and she's like, "Oh my God, do you remember when we got the tuk-tuk and we went into Ho Chi Minh City and we got Thai food and it was so good and I was so scared, but you said it was going to be fine." And then one of our other favorite memories was when we went to Angkor Wat in Cambodia. We watched the sunrise. It was just
Um,
absolutely beautiful. So reminiscing on those things with her, and I know it's special for her. It's certainly special for me. But yeah, I love being able to share that experience with her in such a unique culture. It was
mhm.
incredible. Where's your next trip?
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna ask you a question here about Vietnam and Cambodia because I am headed that direction in November. I'm gonna trek up to Everest Base Camp.
Oh
Uh,
my God, that's so cool.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That's been a bucket list for mine is to go see, Mount Everest, the
Yeah.
the tallest mountain in the world. But I wanted to
Right?
try
Like,
to,
are you gonna do that?
what's that?
So the base camp?
Yeah, the base camp. So you trek up to the base camp, which is a hard enough hike in and of itself.
Okay.
It's like a multiple, like I think the whole trek is like 2 weeks in total to get up and down. So
Wow.
it's not like easy because base camp I think is at like 17,000 feet or a little bit more than that.
Wow. That's really high. I went skydiving at 14,000 feet. So that's no joke.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun challenge. But I'm excited for it.
Oh my
But
God.
anyways,
When is that? Sorry, just last question on.
yeah, that's in November.
Oh my gosh.
So
I cannot wait to see the pictures and hear all about it.
yeah, I'm excited.
I'll be
uh,
living vicariously through you.
yes, and same like with all your travels. I love seeing all the travel pics from everyone, especially in our group. It's
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
it is. It's so nice.
Yeah, actually, I have a friend who I met on the Colombia trip that I did before Morocco, and now my friend that I met, Tommy, he's in Morocco right now doing the FTLO trip there.
Oh, great. Does he have Sarah?
Yeah, yeah, he has Sarah. So
Perfect.
he was like, "Yeah, Sarah says hi." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I miss Sarah. She's awesome."
She's the sweetest. I tell so many people about how incredible she is and what she's trying to do as a woman in tourism in Morocco and how she's just and I told so many people too. I'm like, I never felt unsafe. There was no need to feel safe, but like she's tiny, but she is mighty. Like
Hmm.
she runs that ship and what she's trying to do. Like when we went, she was also going up for that awards um test for the best travel group leader, and what she does, especially like on the trips, all of the stores that we went to were female owned businesses, and she's really trying to make her stamp on the tourism industry in Morocco as a female group leader. I just think she's such a boss ass bitch. I don't know if I can say that. I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah,
That's the extent
totally
of my
fine.
cursing, but she really is. She's such a treasure to meet. I need her to come. We need her to come to the States so we can hang out.
I know, honestly, we should try to make that happen.
I know. I'll follow up with her. I'll write to her and say we're talking about you today, and we need you to come back. We not come back. We need you to come to. We need you to
Yeah,
come to the States so we can hang out again. I miss her.
yeah, she was the best,
Yeah.
and like you said, what she's doing there, in Morocco, where the culture, like, you know, females are not, it's a little bit tougher for them,
Right.
to make their way there, and to see what she's doing. I mean, it's incredible. She's not backing down at all. She's going after everything that she wants.
Absolutely
That's
not.
so cool.
That's the best way to put it. And when we went to her friend's home, and her friend was studying in college to try and get a degree and work. Like it's very inspiring, especially just, with the way women are not necessarily treated, but in that society right now, she's like, I don't want to be a standard Moroccan woman who just stays at home with the kids in the kitchen and this. She's like, I want to be involved. I want to change tourism for Morocco. I want to make a mark. So we love Sarah. We
Yeah,
stay.
definitely. Anyone going to Morocco, you gotta get Sarah
Yeah.
as a tour guide for
Yes,
sure.
absolutely. Another plug for Morocco and for Sarah.
Yeah. Did we ever hear back about the award she was going after?
No, I don't know. I feel like we would have, you know,
Yeah. I don't
if
remember when the deadline was for that.
I know. I put my notes in, and she had a lot, like, but there were a lot of people. It's like a global contest.
Yeah, I
It's
didn't realize that. That's huge.
Yeah, but she's number one in our hearts.
Yes. Well, and Ivan was great too in Cuba. I mean, he's
Oh my
still
God,
messaging us every once in a while with the
he
pictures
kills
of the
me.
dog. But
Kills me. I also tell I'm always talking about all of my events, but I always tell people about him. First of all, I was blown away not only by FTLO and how well they planned the trip, especially since Cuba just reopened its doors to US tourists. But I was blown away with Cuba itself. Like, it far exceeded my expectations, and Yvonne was just the best. His personality, he's goofy, he's caring, he's fun. He's my salsa dancing partner, by the way, also when we were with Havana
yeah,
Queen. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm with the pro. But we worked it out. It was I love him too. I need and unfortunately, like, I've told so many people about our experience in Cuba, and how eye-opening it was and important that, we need to make changes um, with them. It's, everything that we learned about the rations and how everything's set up from the government, and Cuban people can't even come to the United States.
yeah,
So it's just crazy, and I hope now that tourism that being opened back up to the US, that there can be some more changes that go there when people experience it and say, you know what, it doesn't have to be like this anymore. You know, we need to make some changes. They certainly deserve it. They're wonderful people.
yeah, yeah. That stuff. I feel like, especially today, it's dumb. It's just some political stuff at the very,
Correct.
top people in
Correct.
the governments. Like, nobody else, cares about any of that anymore.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's sad to see, for sure. But I'm glad that, we got to go there and can come back and share that with people and share, what it's actually like there, and
Right.
promote it to the rest of the world
Yeah.
too.
I wrote FTLO, like, again, they did such a great job, and I with the review, especially because it was their first inaugural trip, I wrote such a long letter of, like, this was amazing, and, like, also just ways to kind of even enhance the trip of, like, with the donations and everything, because with I didn't really understand the extent of it, and the toys that I had was because my wonderful mother knows that the kids with the embark though, they don't have as many sports, games, things, kids to play, toys to play with. So my mom had sent that to me through Amazon, those trucks that I gave to those little boys, but everyone else was like, "Oh my God, I forgot to get that." And so I was like, put it on the packing list because people will forget. But it's hard because once we were there, it's like you can't go to Target.
Yeah.
There's no grocery store, so you're just kind of SOL. So and I went to when Leah and I went to the New York Happy Hour when FTLO was there. I talked to one of the team members, and I said like the same exact thing. I'm like, in the feedback, I listed all of that so it can be helpful for the group moving forward, and the collection bag at the end. Because Gloria, as you know, she was like, we will take anything, so we're happy to have it, even if it's half used bottles of soap, shampoo, conditioner. So I told them I was like, set aside a bag at the end of the trip that everyone, we're fortunate enough that we can go replenish anything at CVS, so they don't
Yeah.
have Advil, it's crazy. So they were like, those notes were so helpful. And she's like, we are going to move the packing list or the donations to the packing list because everybody lives by the packing list, on those last few days. So and that just makes me like, again, like we have to buy the visa to support the Cuban people. And it's just like, if that's the least I can do to try and help, and make
Yeah.
some sort of impact, I really care about making that better for them because they're such wonderful people. Gloria, Andrea's name was, but they were the best.
Yeah, they were awesome. I think I shared this with someone else on the podcast, but having been to a number of the Latin American countries, they're all very friendly people. But Cuba was like on a different level. Like these are
Right.
the most friendly people I have ever met in my life.
They are, and I thought that they were so welcoming. I had a lot of people, like, ask me once I was back, they were like, "Did you feel safe?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, again, I obviously feel very safe with Yvonne, who's with us the whole time, but I feel
Mhm.
like in a way because I feel that people are afraid that they hate Americans because of how things are, but I didn't feel that way at all. I felt that they were very so warm, welcoming, wanting us to be there, wanting us to experience Cuban life. I never felt unsafe or uncomfortable. And even, Farm Daddy, the cute Farm Daddy guy, he was wearing a Boston Red Sox hat. He was like, I love watching US sports, you know.
Mhm.
So I just hope that in the next 5 years things can change.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think as time changes, it will change, but it's a slow moving process, unfortunately.
Right. I know. And we're doing as much as we can.
Yeah. I'm still laughing at the farm daddy. I love that you guys still talk about
And
that.
so I will say the Cuban men are quite beautiful. That's another thing I told everyone. I was like, they have these light eyes. Oof, oof. We had very attractive tour guides, farm daddies to show us. I was like, wow, I just oof. Hubba hubba.
Oh my goodness. Funny. um yeah, with I guess in other places you've been to, what's your experiences been like, and what have the tour guides and the people been like as well?
Yeah. Would you say with FTLO or
Just in general, like, a few highlights from your various trips.
I think for me, when I was studying abroad and we went to Bali, and that was my first time going to Asia, and I was so excited. But Bali is a very different style place. And so there was a group of us from my college. There were 20 of us from Loyola that went, but because there were so many of us and we couldn't fit all on one flight, myself and my two friends, Lauren and Vinny, who just recently got married this past August, my very dear friends. So we went a day before. So it was the three of us in Bali, and the culture shock. I mean, we know some things where you just have to keep your like you're in such a different type of culture, and
Hmm.
for me, like, it took me about 3 days to feel comfortable, but understand, and I think that a lot of times, like, you never wanna be that ugly American tourist, that just is
Yeah.
loud and is like, "This is the way we do it in America, so it needs to be done everywhere in every other country." I think that that trip to Bali, especially that first day when it was just the 3 of us, and, this is before we had I feel like I'm so old when I say this, but we had flip phones. This was before, like, iPhone really became a thing and you could have technology and connection to anyone in the world at any time. We really only had flip phones to T9 text each other, let alone like if it was an emergency to call like my parents or you know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
but for that, I think by the third day, I mean, you just what I do and what everyone should do is just take a step back. Listen to how the culture goes, understand how they operate and how they move, and then you assimilate. I think for me that was one of the most um, pivotal kind of experiences where I was like, "Wow, this was a culture shock for day 1 to 2, but by day 5, we're drinking with the locals, we're in these other bars, they're showing they're lovely people," and I'm like, this was a great experience for me to have to be like, sit back and, you're the minority. You're like, they don't give a shit. Oh, sorry, I do not mean to curse. They do not give a that, that you're American. You're in their country. So you need to understand how everything works with them. And ever since Bali, I was like, I cannot wait to get back to Southeast Asia. I just loved it. And that's why my next trip when I was with Grammy and I was like, Grammy, anywhere in the world. And I was like, let's go back to Southeast Asia. I love it there. And I'm dying to come back. I would love to. I was actually there was obviously with the recession and everything, plans have been put on hold, but my company that I work with has a work from other offices program. So there's 11
Mm.
offices worldwide, and I was dying to go to the Singapore one. So maybe once things improve in the economy, they'll pick that back up. But that's like such a fun perk for me at my job right now, to be able to utilize that travel component. And
Yeah.
Singapore.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, okay, you'll definitely have to watch that movie then because it takes place in Vietnam.
Oh,
So
great.
you'll probably see a lot of things that you visited too.
Oh, I love it. I would go back. My friend Steph, you didn't meet Steph, but, she was somebody who, signed up. We were best friends from working together from years ago, and she's always wanted to do an FTLO trip, and she just got back from the Vietnam FTLO trip, like, a week ago, and I'm getting together with her, next week for dinner to hear all about it, but I'm so happy and glad she went, and I just cannot like, her pictures were insane, and she said there was a smaller group. I think it was like 6 people, and it was all
Oh,
women.
wow.
So, that I'm just really excited to hear about that. So, anybody else's and she's one of the 8 people I've referred since 2020, so I don't know why. I would work for people if I could.
I
Everyone's
know.
messaging me like, "Oh my god, I wanted to" I'm like, when did you go to this place? Where are you going next? Like, how was it?" I feel like I'm not an influencer by any means, but I'm like, "Use my code." I'm like, "I need a code or something."
Yeah, you should look into that. I think they have that program with
They have
FTLO.
a referral thing, so, like, each time, I give a referral, I get $100 off a trip,
Okay.
split it, so they do have that, and I always, cash in on that, but I just love to be able to spread the word and have people have the wonderful experiences that we've had, and just keep going back for more. And when I actually started traveling with FTLO, which was in 2018, the first trip was Barcelona, south of France, and the company had only been around for 2 years. They started in 2016, and at that time in 2018, when I went, they only had European trips. It was really like Barcelona, south of France. They had Tuscany and Rome, but I remember on that trip they are our group leader, Seth, who is like FTLO's best group leader ever, and has started a new role from FTLO. But he said, the company's having some really exciting updates. We're expanding to the continents that we go to. So to have started with FTLO in 2018, where it was just a few trips in Europe to now they have Asia, they have Africa, they have the Laplands, they have South America, and South America is more on my list to be able to, get to some of those places. So like maybe I do the Colombia trip, but it's just so cool to see how the company's grown and in a way grow with them. But I'm like, I remember when you guys first started and you only had a couple trips in Europe and like look where you guys are now. You offer Vietnam and Japan, all the way around on the other side of the world. It's just
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, even through the pandemic, I feel like they still really expanded a lot, and it's really taken off the last couple of years too.
Absolutely. And I actually had signed up for South Africa and then COVID happened. So obviously I did not get to go on that trip, but hopefully, somewhere down the line. But yeah, I really like Tara, who's the CEO, and Michaela's her sister. And Michaela was the first person I had talked to, but I love her vision for the company and even the Sojourn. I've even looked into that, which is more like a study abroad for adults, where you can go to another country for a month, like a work from other continents kind of thing. But they have many different cultural aspects that are woven into, and you work, you know what I mean? Like it's like whatever job you have, if you're fully remote, you can go do that. And I'd love to be able to do that. Maybe once I'm a little bit longer into my job, that I would try and do that. But that's such another great, cool concept.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. It's I don't know. They've really found a really great niche, I think.
They have. That they have. It's always wonderful people. I tell people, I was like, and this girl, Grace, that I was talking to last week, she was like, I'm a little nervous to go on this FTLO trip. Like, can I talk to you and hear your experience? And I was like, listen, there's people, I'm obviously very extroverted, very loud, big personality, but it's not like 12 Kathryns, like every single group I've been on, which would be a lot. Every single group that I've been on, there's been a great mix of personalities, introverted, extroverted. So you'd be surprised. And that's why I try and tell people, though, even though it's coming from me, I'm like, don't think that it's just super extroverted people to go on this. And I always say, like to Grace, this girl I was speaking to last week, I'm like, if you come back from a trip and you have one person that you'd want to see again or talk to after the trip, that's a win, you know? And I think we've been very lucky with our Moroccan group that, we still all keep in touch and still travel together. But I think as a rule, like if you just meet one person at the end of the trip, that you still want to stay in contact, that's awesome. Like you can say, like, I went to a new country, I tried new things, and I met a new friend. Like it's just awesome.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why I wanted to go on those trips was to meet other people that were, similar to me, um, who wanted to travel but maybe didn't have like, a significant other to travel with or something like
Right.
that. Um,
100%.
yeah, and now I've made, lifelong friends. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
I've met lots of great people over I think I've done 4 trips now.
Oh, nice. That's great. If you do two more, they'll send you that champagne glass, which was so nice.
Oh, that looked cool.
It was so nice. They had reached out to me and they were like, "Oh my gosh, we want to like thank you so much for traveling with us so much. We want to send you a gift." I thought it was going to be like a t-shirt or a hat. And I'm like, and I open it up and it's this beautiful, lovely champagne glass with their logo of the world map and F for the love of travel. I'm like, this is really nice. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
maybe the
I just
sixth.
got I just got my 3 trip gift. They got me a wine bottle opener and then some stickers and stuff like that. So
Oh, nice.
I feel like that's cool. That's a cool little like extra thing,
Yeah, and it was so nice. Like they wrote like a personalized note, a handwritten note.
Yeah.
Simple, but it was like, "Hey, Kathryn, thanks so much for traveling with us. We can't wait to have you on our next experience." But handwritten notes is a lost art that I still love to be able to
Yep.
do when like send birthday cards, wedding stuff. But that personalized touch just makes it even better. So I'm like, yep, can't wait for
Yep.
yeah. And
Yeah.
hopefully and hopefully the Turkey 2024 dates will come out soon so we can get that on the books.
Yeah, definitely. We got a good one planned already, but
We do with Jordan. I'm excited for that one. They're like those are the kind of again, like I never in a million years could try and plan a Jordan trip for us. You know what I mean? So it's like
mhm.
places where I'm like, I am safe in your hands. Take
Yeah.
me wherever. I see the pictures. I read the itinerary. I'm like, yep, sounds great. tell me where to be and at what time, and I will show up in Jordan.
That's funny. Yeah, it's those are the kind of places where it's like, I really could possibly, do this on my own and like find a tour guide to help me out and that sort of thing. But it's like, yeah, this would be more fun and easier, and I feel like a better experience if I go like with a group with like FTLO. And that's the way I felt in Cuba and Morocco too. I mean, it's just like I could do this, but it's way better this way.
I trust the experts,
Yeah.
like it stresses me out because then I get all nervous. I'm like, am I doing the right things? I need to make sure I'm hitting all the right spots. And I'm like, no, I love to travel because it's a way for me to relax and enjoy. Some people, like, again, our friend Lauren, she's the planner. Some people really enjoy putting itineraries together. So everybody's different, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Where'd you study abroad in Australia?
I studied abroad in Melbourne, and that's with the Aussie accent, but
Yeah.
Melbourne, if you're saying it in an American accent, but that was 2012. So, oh my God, like 11 years ago. Oh, feel so old. But yeah, we studied abroad in Melbourne, but and our group, the college had planned, we were there for a semester. They had planned stuff for us every single weekend. So, I mean, aside from the Sahara, my other favorite lifetime memory is one of the trips we took into the outback. We drove 15 hours
Mm.
into the outback and we climbed a mountain to see the sunset. It really felt like Pride Rock in The Lion King. And you also know that 9 out of the 10 deadliest animals in the world are found in the outback.
Yeah.
So try and keep that in the back of your head for again for reference. And so we watched the sunset in our group because there's no lights anywhere. Any town was so far away, and so our tour guide, our Airbnb guy who was there was like, okay, guys, once the sun sets, we got to book it back down because there's no lights once the sun like down. We're like, oh my God. But we went back to the camp and we had s'mores, we had a campfire, and I have never seen so many stars in my life. I mean, it was cool. One of the coolest unexpected experiences. I was like, "Oh, the Outback, man, that'll be fun." I totally underestimated how beautiful and what a special moment it was, and that I've only seen the moon rise a handful of times, but that was the first time we saw the moon rise, and I'm just like, "This is an incredible experience." So, I had a great time in Australia, and we did because of the trips that we had planned, each week was each weekend. Obviously, we were study abroad, so study comes first per se. It was maybe a broad study, but we went to Sydney, we went to Cairns, we went to Brisbane. The only place we didn't go to was Ayers Rock in Perth, but that, we made so much out of our time. I really felt like we got to see everything. When we were in the Outback, they had karaoke night, so obviously with all these people that were in town, and I was just up there singing my heart out every single song. But it was the best experience, and I say that my anytime that everyone's like, "What's your fun fact?" That's from Australia, and my fun fact is that I went skydiving and bungee jumping in the same day. And I told my
Wow.
mother about it once both of those activities were completed because I knew she would not be happy with me and be nervous. So I told her after it was done, and she's like, "Honestly, thank you. I'm okay. It's already done. I know that." But it's like, yeah, I had to do it. And I will say bungee jumping is 10 times scarier than skydiving. So
Really? Okay.
yeah, I mean, because we did 14,000 feet, but you've got a trained professional on your back who's telling you each way to go, but is handling all the machinery, with the parachute and everything.
Mhm.
But with bungee jumping, I was like, I was standing up there and I was like, I'm going to regret this if I don't do it. So I got to do this. Me and my two friends, we took a tequila shot before doing this. So skydiving was at 11 a.m. and then bungee jumping was at 4. So with bungee jumping though, I was like, "It'll be okay. I just like won't look down. Like I'll just walk the plank." It was truly like a plank, and they only wrapped my ankles. Like you were Like, it's just crazy. And I was like, just okay, I just don't have to look down. But they're like, no, you actually have to walk to the edge and put your toes over the edge for like
Uh-huh.
safety reasons. So I'm like, you're kidding me. I did. I put my little toes over the edge, and it was over like a man-made little river, I guess you could say. And so they're like 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, I did it. And I'm just, it was because it was over the Great Barrier Reef, like a little bit farther away. And they're like, just pretend you're diving into that water, which was actually very helpful. And you don't always get whiplash if you tuck your chin in to your chest pretty closely,
Mhm.
but I did it, and I was like, I've never felt such a natural adrenaline rush, and I was like, I did it! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! And the funniest part about it was there's then so how they unhook your um how they unhook you and then send it back up. So this Australian guy comes paddles at the once you've stopped dangling, pretty much
Yeah.
you get kind of cradled into this boat sort of thing, and then he unties it and sends it back up. He's telling me all these different directions, and I'm on such an adrenaline high that I'm like, I can't listen to you. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not listening. So I said to him, I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm not I can't believe I just did that. I'm not listening to a word you said. And he goes, I was asking for you, Nana. And I'm like, no, you weren't, because I would have heard that. So I that experience studying abroad in Australia, I also hold very near and dear to my heart. And so many of the people that I traveled with from my college came back to school, and we're best friends and still are to this day. And Lauren and Vinny just got married after dating for 10 years, so it was a very special time for me. So, and all these travel experiences and the people I share it with is means so much to me.
That's so awesome. I love hearing that because it's I've gotten to feel that as well, and I want that to come across on this podcast of like these are the kind of feelings that you get when you travel, when you study abroad, when you do these things. Like it is such a fulfilling, life-changing moment to go travel, all over the world.
Definitely. I just it really, as cheesy as it sounds, just fills my soul. Like that for me, it's like I love being able to explore. And it just I feel like my happiest. Like there's a picture that I have from when we were in the Whitsunday Islands, which was like so
Mm,
nice. It's apparently like rated one of the like the top 10 beaches in the world. But I
yeah.
like looking at that photo because I'm like, I was like truly happy in that moment. Like there's certain photos that you get captured, and life's tough. I'm taking pictures all the time, but I have this one photo there, and I'm like, I look at that and I'm like, I was like, I was truly happy in this moment. So it's just like absolute, it's my Instagram photo, my profile picture, my favorite one, but like it's just real like I really love that to be able to look at a picture and be like, wow, in that moment, I was truly fulfilled.
hmm Yeah, it was, honestly, now that I think about it, like those are some of the most happiest and fulfilling moments that I've had in my life. I mean, I've had others outside of traveling too, but like there's a lot of them that are from traveling too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just feel like it's I feel like that everybody deserves to be able to go and experience this world and experience life and understand what cultures are like outside of America. I do also think it's very important for people to take themselves out of America and be able
Yeah.
to be exposed to other cultures and how other people live. I think it just for me it makes I'm trying to be like have that well-roundedness about myself. And honestly, you never know who you might meet because I actually went I mean Cancun is not exactly like super culturally enriching, but when I was just starting in sales at my previous company, I was, it was December, and I just went to Mexico for like a few days or something by myself. And so on this, when we were getting transferred to the place we were staying at, I met this wonderful family. This mom, her husband, and their 2 kids. They were so cute. They were so nice. Lived in New Jersey. Had lovely chat. It was a smaller ish kind of place, like resort. So you would see these people all the time. You'd be like, we'd see them at dinner. Oh, hey, how's it going? How's it going? and, just like chat about life. There's no work shop talk or anything. And so I get back to work, and that was December. And then in March that year, I'm having a meeting. I had cold called this university, this veterinarian university, and so I have a meeting in person with them. And I'm sitting across from this woman, and it's winter. We're in Jersey. It's snowing, so the context was all over the place. And I just kept looking at this woman, and I was like, "How do I know this person?" She lives near my parents' house, and my mom knows everybody. So I'm like, maybe I know her through my mom. And so I was thinking, I couldn't even put my finger on it. And all of a sudden, she goes, "Wait a minute. I know you. I met you in Mexico." She was the mob. And turns out she was the marketing department head who handles advertising. And I
Wow.
was so nervous in my pitch because I was just new to sales and trying to remember all this information. So I was taken off so off guard to be like, oh my gosh. I ended up getting the deal for $40,000, which was like a lot of money for a local client. But I feel I won that business because she got to meet me before any shop talk, and she got to,
Mhm.
know me as a person, where if she was like, "Oh, that girl, Kathryn, oh my god, she's a crazy person at the resort. She's a bitch," like she liked me, and I feel like that's it's a lot of the travel that I do, but it's helped me so much in business to be able to speak to other cultures and experiences that I've had. But there was an actual example of I won business because I met somebody on vacation unknowingly 3 months prior, and she liked me, and basically was like, yeah, sure, we'll buy it. I'm like, great.
Wow. What are the odds?
I know. It was wild. It was really cool. But that's what I mean. Always be kind, because you never know who you're gonna meet. And it it's just crazy how small the world actually is.
Yeah. And I would add to that too, like having traveled to a lot of different places, for me, like it helps me start conversations with people and be able to relate to people in a more personal way because I'm like, oh, I studied abroad in Australia. And they're like, oh my gosh, like I did too. Like, and then you start talking and I don't know, it's just cool
There's
to make connections that way.
Absolutely. And to be able to establish connections and rapport with somebody, or when if people are going somewhere, to be able to say, "Oh, you gotta go here." Like, this is the
Hmm.
coolest, off the beaten path place, but it's so great. I agree. I find it's a good icebreaker or conversation starter. It's better talk than like the weather, you know?
Yeah,
It's just
for me who is not an extrovert at all, it gives me a lot to fall back on.
Yes, exactly.
That's funny. Well, Catherine, any other stories that you want to share?
Oh, a good question. Honestly, I feel like I was able to share all of them. I think for me, I really got my travel bug and wanderlust from my grandmother, and seeing her travel while I was still in high school, and I was like, "That's awesome. She's awesome. I wanna do that someday." And then going to travel with her, and then just really branching out and, like, happening to find FTLO, back in 2018, and still be able to have met so many wonderful people, like, just as you said, like, it really is, like-minded individuals who want to connect, who want to learn, who want to be open to new experiences. It's just been incredible. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I always have 1,000, fun travel stories, but I think that's not the bulk of it. So,
Uh, no, it's been fun. I'm curious, are you gonna be able to go on every single one of the FTLO trips?
oh, I could if I haven't already been there. The one I'm also really wanting to do is Japan.
Mm,
So I'm dying to go to Japan. So maybe that one, but I'm really, again, I know we're holding out for Turkey 2024. That really is my next, like, I really want to go to Turkey. So,
yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that one.
we'll get there. We'll get there, Kyle. We
Yep,
will.
we'll make it happen.
We will. But it's so awesome.
Cuba,
Again,
Turkey.
oh, what'd you say?
If we could go to Cuba, we can go to Turkey.
Correct. Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously the earthquakes aren't great, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
I'm that would be such a culturally enriching, incredible experience. So I am looking forward to it, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Awesome. Well, Kathryn, any last like tips, tricks, or anything else that you want to share?
The last thing I would only say is just, have an open mind and a go with the flow attitude with traveling. And you'd be surprised how many people you connect with that you wouldn't have met otherwise, and meet locals and hear their stories. It's just amazing. So that's all. Go with the flow.
I love it. 100% agree. Well, Kathryn, thank you so much. I appreciate the time. I really enjoyed talking travel with you, and hope to see you somewhere around the world soon.
Me too. I can't wait for our next adventure. I'm so excited.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, thanks, Kyle. This was awesome.
Yep. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.
Thanks. You too. Bye.
Bye. Hey everybody, Kyle here. If you enjoyed today's show and want more, you can always check out every episode on Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, and now Amazon Music as well. Just search for Our Travel Experiences on any of those platforms and it will pop up. You can also find everything all in one place on my website, ourtravelexp.com. And if you want to see my travel pictures as well as travel pictures from guests on the show, you can check them out on Instagram. The page is called Our Travel Experiences Podcast. And if you want to share your own pictures on the Instagram page or be a guest on the podcast, you can message me via that Instagram page or email me at ourtravelexperiences@outlook.com. I would love to see your pictures and hear about your travel experiences, so please send them my way. And if that isn't enough for you, make sure to check out my weekly YouTube show, From Around the World Fridays. Every Friday, I'm taking 5 to 10 minutes to answer questions from listeners, share some souvenirs that I bought over the years, share my postcards over the years that I've accumulated, or share videos and pictures from one particular city or country that I visited, and so much more. So check it out, guys. You won't be disappointed. And make sure you go subscribe to that as well. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you somewhere around the world soon.